You are tuning in to the Weekend Vibes with your bestie, Indigo Jones on 104.7 The Drop. And I gotta say, I am elated for this moment because this is my first radio interviewee. And I'm not gonna hold you, I'm a little nervous, but we're gonna get through it. We are gonna get through it, friend. But who I have here today, he is an actor, a singer, a songwriter. And I present to you today the multi-talented Gabe Lustman. Thank you for being here.
What's up, Indigo? What's up, Denver? What up? What up? It's your boy Gabe. I'm in the building today.
Thank you for coming to the building. Thank you for coming here and just being here and talking to me today. I'm really excited.
My pleasure. Pleasure's all mine.
So, of course, I got a lot of questions to ask you, but I know the audience want to hear from you specifically about who you are. So tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay, well, for everybody listening, what's going on? First of all, I hope you all doing good. You know, my name's Gabe Lustman. I'm a pop R&B singer-songwriter. I'm based in Atlanta, and I'm actually out here in Denver right now, and I got a chance to come to the radio station, and I'm really excited to be here. So I hope you guys like what you hear, and I've been doing music a long time. So I got a chance to perform at the Roxy one time down here, and that was a beautiful venue, but I've never been to the radio station, so this is the first. You guys are popping my cherry today.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. So so you have been to Denver in some areas. Are there any landmarks in Denver that you want to explore, or landmarks that you've already been to that you want to explore?
Yes, most definitely. I think that being able to perform at the legendary Roxy was real cool. That was definitely a bucket list, and I got to do that with my guy Kirkle Bangs and Tory Lanez. It was probably like 5 years ago or so, and shout out to them for putting me on their tour as an opener. I got to perform there. That was pretty cool, and got to meet some of the people at Denver. That was amazing. I think definitely a bucket list for me would be Red Rocks. You know what I'm saying? I was just saying that I need to go do a concert there.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I don't perform there yet, you know what I'm saying? It's stepping stones. That's why we at the radio station, we're trying to build the brand so I can get there one day, right?
It's going to happen.
But I want to go there. I think Chris Brown's coming out here. He might be at Pepsi Center, I think it's called, right?
It's going to be at the Coors Field Stadium.
It's okay.
Where the Rockies
We just
play.
drove by that coming in. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, it's like really close.
So I'm still like a Denver virgin. I'm still like learning, you guys. So bear with me.
That's okay. It's going to happen. I can see the Red Rocks for sure. Yes.
Oh, in God's name, yeah. Let's go. Let's manifest that right now.
We all manifest it. We got this. But I know that you are originally born from New Orleans, Louisiana. So growing up in New Orleans, how did that environment shape your earliest memories with music and performing growing up?
Cool. So like a lot of people don't know this, but I was adopted when I was 2 years old. So I was born in New Orleans and I was adopted right about two and a half into a Navy family. So we moved up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Thank God. And I got love for the city of New Orleans. But then shortly after Katrina happened, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that was in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? So, what's it called? I had moved out of there, so I didn't get too much of the influence. I went back. It's a little different now. Of course, you don't remember too much when you're 2. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
but,
yeah.
I love the city. I love me a beignet down there. You know what I'm saying? The Creole food and like all the good food that they got down there in Bourbon Street. I got to perform down there and stuff like that at Razoo's, you know, and some of the places down there. It was a real cool city. There's a lot of life there and a lot of good people. I didn't get a chance to go really like experience the culture too much more than, you know, go see some jazz stuff, go hit the casino and have some drinks. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to be real. But, you know, I was raised more so in like every other place, like, because my dad was in the Navy, so we moved around everywhere. But I would say like Minneapolis would be where I got my music influence from, like, and that's Prince time, you know, Michael Jackson, Prince time, Morris Day, Atmosphere, Mint Condition, Sounds of Blackness, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. You know, the list goes on. There's so many great people from Minneapolis.
Nice. Super nice. Because you were from Minneapolis and then you moved to Atlanta shortly after that. And I know Atlanta is like a staple for culture in many aspects.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about how Atlanta has also impacted you, if it has?
Atlanta's like been monumental to my career, and it's been like a game changer. You know, shout out to the city, shout out to the A. You know what I mean? I'm here in Denver today. You know what I'm saying? But I got love for Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So Atlanta really helped shape my career and open up so many doors for me, from acting and getting into film and reality TV to, you know, I got to perform and meet Usher for the first time. sometime back in March, right after my birthday. So that was a nice little birthday gift. And Atlanta's just been really great. It's been it's very progressive. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great city to be in when you're chasing your dream, and there's so many different resources and ways to make money. It's a hustle capital. So it's a great place to be, most definitely.
This is something that I've read about you, actually, because you did mention that you did some like reality TV appearances and like performances and auditions, but you were also originally in a boy band.
Oh, God.
What was your biggest lessons or wake-up call from that early chapter?
It's been a while. Like I said, I forget their names and stuff nowadays. But I think it was a great experience. I always wanted to be in a boy band because I grew up listening to Justin Timberlake and NSYNC, and then the Backstreet Boys, and then Boys to Men, H-Town. Motown, like Spinners, Four Tops, Temptations, the Jackson 5, the list goes on, you know what I'm saying? But so it was like I got it out of my system, you know what I'm saying? There was a phase. I was in it for like a year and a half. It was cool. The dudes were talented, you know what I'm saying? But that was just a chapter of my life that I really don't even remember too much, to be honest with you. But it was cool, though. You know what I'm saying? We got on MTV and did a little show, MTV's Top Pop Group. That was cool. And I got to work with some of my favorite producers, JR Rodham, and shout out to DJ KG from Naughty by Nature. He gave me my first production deal, you know what I'm saying? And we were working with them. So yeah, it was a cool experience, but like everything, everything has a season, and I think that I outgrew that season, and that's when I became a solo artist, and that's when I really spread my wings, and now I'm in Denver at the Drop 303, baby.
Hey,
as a solo artist, you feel me?
So when you pushed into being a solo artist, was there a specific moment where you knew from being a solo artist, like, I'm on the right path, this is what I'm supposed to do? What was that moment for you like?
There's been a lot of moments like that, to be honest, that I've been like, this is what I'm supposed to do as a solo artist. But I feel like after the group situation, I really felt kind of like depressed and like I don't know where to go. You know what I'm saying? And then I had a chance to meet my current manager named Juice, and that was I believe that was like 2010 or so. So we've been rocking for like 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Juice. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Juice. But I think meeting him and just having that new life and him building my confidence as an artist, because you come out of a relationship with a label or an old manager or a group per se, or even a writing team or something, and it feels like a breakup from a girlfriend or somebody you love, because you're really tied together. You know what I'm saying? So I think getting over those wounds and stuff and turning a new leaf and being back inspired, that was the turning point for me, where I said, okay, I still can do this, and I'm meant to do this, and my passion didn't die out. I didn't change. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do for real, for real.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is powerful.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned a lot of those struggles. So I also read that one of the biggest struggles that you had personally was losing your father. Mm-hmm. And sorry for your loss, sending you my light and love.
Thank you.
And along with that, you were also moving to Atlanta, which are two major transitions in life.
Oh, yeah.
So during that time, how did you navigate those personal struggles, and how has it helped you strengthen your commitment into your music and your craft and your purpose?
That's a great question. So losing my father was definitely one of the hardest things that I've dealt with. I think anybody who's listening could probably relate to losing someone as close as your father or your mother, grandma, So condolence to anybody listening that's lost somebody. I feel you. I'm sending love through this microphone. You know what I mean? So I think, for me, losing my father was tough, and then leaving the group around the same time, it was a lot going on, and a lot of people would fold, you know what I'm saying? But I was fortunate enough, my mom and my sister were there for me as a support system, and my manager, Juice, was there. And I just leaned on the music, you know what I'm saying? So I just really got in the studio and just started recording and writing like a crazy person. And to this day, I have almost 3,000 songs recorded, you know what I'm saying? So, but, and that's for real, there's no cap. Like 3,000.
3,000.
Yeah.
Like so, you in there, you locked in.
Yeah. So I feel like anytime I've been depressed or had a low, because there's a lot of lows in life, not just music, like when you're 9 to 5, whatever, like we all go through stuff. Everybody got a sob story. So I'm not trying to sit here and boo-hoo or nothing. But when I was in my darkest times, I lean on my creativity, and I think that anybody who's listening should take this gem and just like find something that you can, pour your love and your heart into. When you're in your darkest hour, whether you have faith, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in your music, or you're a painter, or you like to play ball or whatever, or go work out. As long as you have an outlet, you can get through that, and I feel like for me, it was music. So I left everything behind. And then the second part of your question was the Atlanta transition. I took everything, and I didn't have a license at the time or a car. My manager let me use his second car, but it didn't have no tags, and I couldn't get no tags. So I just drove it with no tags and no insurance all the way down to Atlanta. And I said, hey, just make sure you follow me closely. Took the shirt off, had my hand hanging out the sunroof. I was blasting any radio station that would come in at the time, all the way through Highway 24, Tennessee. We were driving through all the mountains and every crazy thing.
You were vibing.
And we were vibing. I had a good old time. I mean, that's the highlight of my career, right? The drive to Atlanta was definitely a risk, and I could have been in jail, but I made it, and we made it down to Atlanta, and I think that was the best move I ever made in my life. So
yes,
yeah.
I know Atlanta traffic is crazy. Would you say it's better than Denver,
or
would you say
driving here? So I have something to say. Shout out to the city of Denver. I love y'all. No shade, but how are you gonna go 55 in the fast lane? That's because I was told that you can't. I was told it's a passing lane only.
Oh my
right?
God!
You get a ticket or something.
Yeah.
So I'm driving in the. I don't even want to. I love the city of Denver. That's all I gotta say. But Atlanta, I was actually groomed by the city of Atlanta because there are some crazy drivers in Atlanta. They drive 85. If you don't drive 85 and a 55, you're getting run over.
Listen. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to. I just actually was in Atlanta for a concert in July, and oh my gosh, like
some
the
people
traffic.
get nervous.
Some people get so nervous.
Yeah, I'm not driving in Atlanta.
And sometimes they be driving in the parts where you're not supposed to, and I'm like, and me being a Denver native, I just be real baffled. I'm like, oh my gosh, but like I love Atlanta though. The culture is just so amazing.
It's a vibe.
Yes.
It really is. There's something to do every day in the city, and there's so much. There's literally something to do every day, every moment. You got concerts, you got good food. The city stays open 24 hours.
Yes.
It's like you can literally go to the club at 3 or 4 in the morning and after hours, and the joint will be open till 7 in the morning. Or then you can go over and you can go to Waffle House. If you like Waffle House, or my place, I like to eat R. Thomas.
I still need to eat Waffle House.
You eat Waffle House?
I haven't been to Waffle House, but I heard the one in the South is the best one.
I was thinking about the endorsement. Okay. I don't remember the last time they gave an endorsement out. But I don't know. I'm not rocking with Waffle House, bro. Nah, I'm cool. I will do some IHOP now, you know what I'm saying? Or Denny's if I have to, It's cool. But no shade.
No shade.
I love the brands. I love them all.
It's okay.
They're great.
It's okay. We still live, laugh, and love. We really do.
Facts.
But speaking of vibes and music, your recent single, What's the Move? That song is a banger.
What's the move?
Hey.
I just want your body, come on through.
Hey.
You got it bad, I want you.
Hey.
Yeah, what's the move?
Not the acapella.
I had to for Indigo. Come on,
not the acapella. You really came through.
Hey, I got you. I got you. Anytime.
Y'all, Gabe Lustman just gave us a performance. He gave us a performance. But is there a personal story behind that song? Because I know it's really just vibes. But what inspired you to create that song?
So I was kind of in a I wouldn't say a writer block or anything like that, but I would say something kind of like it. And I was in the studio, and I was I make so many songs. Sometimes you run out of topics. You got to get creative. You know what I'm saying? You got to reinvent the wheel, because I done said love and hate and party so many different ways 3,000 times. You know what I mean? It's a lot. So I asked my manager, Juice. I said, bro, can you link me up with one of your young producers that's fire? And he said, I got the guy for you. So I got in with 2 producers, and I did one there and with one guy, and he was really amazing. TL on the beat. We made some great songs. And then the one that really stood out to me was the one I did with the guy by the name of Kavan. And he made the track. We did 2 songs, and I just told someone this story the other day. It's kind of funny. But so my manager is like, I'm not going to compare him to Diddy, okay? No Diddy here. But I'm saying he's like the Thor hammer. He come in the room and shut it down. So you do a song and you think it's fire, And then he comes in, the music plays, doo, 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 and then he come in, and all of a sudden, he's like, nah, that ain't it. And we all hyped, thinking the song is fire. He said, that ain't it. What else y'all got? And we're like, that's all we did.
Oh.
So we better do another one. So we went and tried again, and we were like, we just had to pick up our morale. We were like feeling bad for ourselves.
Oh.
We're like, dang, like, man, we thought that was a smash, bro. Like, he didn't like that. Like, he left the room, and I'm like, bro, he didn't like that? Like, really? And then I'm like, all right, well, let's do it. Well, I wanted to give up. I was like, but we don't give up over here.
We don't.
So I was like, okay, let's do another one. And then Kavan was like, all right. And then he played, he played the loop and started, what's the move?
Hey.
And then it flowed. Like it was one of them magical moments. I love that about music. That's the thing that keeps you coming back when you hate it, when you want to give up. And then you have a moment like that. Or you end up on the radio at the drop, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the moments that make you realize why you do this. And then it's like a never-ending cycle. You always have to go back and revisit, and because you never want to have the thought of what if I did, you know? So that's kind of how the song came, and then performed it, you know, like I performed in the studio and recorded it, and he wrote the hook, I wrote the verse, and sang the heck out of that joint, and I was going to put backgrounds on the song, but I lived with it for like 2 or 3 weeks while I did my press run. And I played it for a lot of people in New York at like Breakfast Club and all the stations and a couple labels, and they were loving it as it was. And I'm like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And all my songs, I'd smash all these harmonies and do all that. So I was like, why don't I just try something, just a clean record with just one vocal going through the whole thing? And that's it. And there's a bop. So it's like a little dance, and it's a drill, sexy drill, which is like a New York thing. You know, like, of course, drill music came from the UK originally, and then it got to Chicago with the trap drill, the drill music, you know. And then it went to New York, and then they came up with the sexy drill where they sing rap over a drill beat. So that's kind of how that came. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do the Gabe version of this, and we kind of made it our own. And people like it, and that's a blessing because, you know, I mean, I have a pretty good radar when I make music, because some people can be blind to, oh, this is hot, thinking everything is a hit. Everything is not going to be a hit, my friend. If y'all listening, artists, everything you do is not a hit. It's not possible unless you're Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? But that's why you go stay in the studio, keep working on your craft, and just, it's a numbers game. Just stay recording, you're going to get one. Yes. You know? So that was our second song. I think it was my 4th song of the day, and I was like gassed, and I was like, dang. And that was like the last one we tried, and that was it. So. You
did that. Yeah, you did that. We love a drill beat. Shout out to my team. Shout out to the team. Mm-hmm. I also got to say, because you did mention like the UK, of course, because that's where drill came from. Mm-hmm. So I've actually seen your music chart overseas in countries like Germany and the UK. So what was that like for you to see your music reach an audience from like across the world? Because really, you're an international artist at this point. So how does that feel, like knowing that information?
I mean, it feels really good to be recognized by, listeners and supporters overseas. I've never been to these countries, and then to have a #1 in Germany, that was the first time that I charted. Well, actually, I was on the indie charts as #1 with my Gotta Get Your Love song in 2014. But 2017, to have the #1 on iTunes ahead of like The Weeknd, and a lot of times in iTunes charts overseas, they have like greatest hits of like a lot of artists, and then they'll put them in there and recirculate them and stuff. But to beat out some of my favorite artists and get a #1 in the R&B charts, that was nuts. And I woke up and I was like, oh man, I was like, now I can order a plaque. I went and got my little money together for my plaque. Shout out to Jewel Box. Hey. And I got my plaque, and then I hung it in the studio, and I've charted like probably 18 times, you know what I'm saying? Like in different countries, from Ghana to UK to Germany, stuff like that. I post the screenshot every time, but I don't, like, I know this is kind of bad, but I only want to buy the plaque if it's #1. I don't want to celebrate being #2.
It's still a celebration, but I know what you mean,
but I clap for myself silently, and then I keep working, because I'm like, my thing is like, if I hang the #2 and someone come in the studio and be like, yo, who's number one though? Like I'm number one, so I only show the number one.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, you know, but I'm really grateful, and to everybody who listened in Germany and turned me up and listened to that My Ex album, the EP. It's available. Check it out, y'all, if you want to check it out. And that was really special. It was cool, and I had come out of a tough breakup and made that project as like a, you know, get over this person project kind of vibe, and it was vindicating, and it made me feel good, and it gave me the strength to move on. So, and then being number one, I'm like, I hope she sees this.
That's amazing. Because I know, like, I can just tell, like, I can tell based on just our conversation right now that you are a very humble individual. Like, you will get to it every single time. Like, I can tell that there's always room for you to grow. There's always room for you to, like, improve on what you've learned. And, like, you also have mentioned that you get a lot of your influence from other artists as well. And we talked about some of your favorite artists, and you mentioned this as well, because you've worked with some heavy hitters in the industry, including, like, big names like Chris Brown, Trey Songz, Kurt Cobain, and you even performed for Usher, Usher, which is one of your idols.
Facts.
What was that experience like to perform for your idol? Like, was it an out-of-body experience? Like, I gotta know. You gotta spill the tea.
Okay, you got a minute. I'm gonna tell you the whole rundown. Okay, I had to edit whatever. I don't know, but so this is what happened. This is how it went down. Okay, so shout out to Mama Jan, my vocal coach. She's been his vocal coach for decades, since he was a kid. And Justin Bieber, Matchbox 20. She's an icon. Vocal coach, artist. She's amazing. So shout out to Mama Jan. Just want to say thank you to her for putting me in the room. She invited me. I think I had went out the night before. I was like mad hungover. I woke up at like 10 a.m. looking for McDonald's. You know, I was going on my phone, like going to DoorDash, and I see an email from her saying, hey, you want to come do my open mic? Like she does like I think every month she does a showcase of like her top artists that she's working with at the time, or her favorites or whatever. And so she had a group of 10 people. It was an intimate kind of recital kind of vibe. And it was real dark in the room. I walk in, the lights were low, and there was like all these kids who play guitar and who are just like incredible musicians and artists and stuff like that, you know? And I walked in there, I was a little intimidated. I was like hungover. I had like leather pants on and shades, and my hair was all messed up. And I was like, oh man, like trying to, if y'all can't see, I like put my hand on my tongue and try to slick my hair back the best way I could.
Did a slick real quick.
You know, so I sit down. I didn't know Usher was in there at the time, you know, and then I'm like watching everybody, like a little nervous tick, thinking about how I'm gonna do my performance and stuff. And okay, the first thing that came to mind, of course, I'm gonna sing some Nice and Slow. That's one of my favorite songs by Usher. I just wanna take it nice and slow. So yeah, that's my favorite song. But
beautiful. So
then I was like, I get to the stage and I'm like, okay, she's like, all right, Gabe, you're up next. You know, like, oh, Gabe would be up next. So then you go sit in the little holding right there. So I go there, and then she's like, okay, you ready? And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. And we're just whispering behind the piano or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm excited. Thanks for the opportunity. So we're getting ready to do it. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to sing, tell the DJ to not to play, or the sound guy in the back, don't play no music at first, because I'm going to do a cappella. I'm going to sing Usher Nice. So she goes, don't do that. I was like, okay. Well, I'm not going to argue with her. This is her thing. So I'm like, okay, all right. And then she says, she goes, okay, well, she's like, I'm going to tell you why. And I was like, why? And then she's like, okay, come here. So we go around the corner, and then she goes, Usher Raymond's sitting in the back right there. And I was like, for real?
No way.
Said, Usher here? And then she said, yeah. So don't mess up.
I would have lost my mind.
And I said, my heart dropped for a second. And then I was like, this is time to deliver moment. So I wasn't scared. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't even excited. I just locked in, and I said, this is the time to show myself, show my butt and what I can do. Pause. But I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So that's when I said, okay, I'm going to go do this. So I get up on the stage, and then lo and behold, the sound man, I don't want to blame him, you know, or anything, but the wrong track is played.
Oh, no.
And it's only an a cappella. So, and it's like, what's the move? And just playing, and I'm like, where's the track? I'm sitting there like, and I was like, yo, bro, that's the wrong song. And it's like all bad.
Oh, no.
So I'm sitting there like, oh my God. In my head, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is over. I'm gonna look crazy. And then I was like, okay, do I jump off the stage and make a scene and say, let me show you how to do this or whatever? Like, you going through all these thoughts. This is Usher we're talking about in the back of the room. You know what I'm saying?
Usher.
So, man, like, okay. So that's when I was like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just going to do what Gabe does. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this a cappella. And then the whole room was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And then I just said, because everybody's like, well, what are he going to do? So I was like, okay, I'm going to do a cappella. So I just started singing, what's the move? I just want your body, come on through. And I was bopping on the stage with my little cord mic and whatever. People started clapping. And then at the end, everybody cheered and stuff. It was one of them defining moments, And it was like the sink or swim. And, like it's, you got to show professionalism as an artist, especially around peers and icons. Not to mention,
Yes.
So I think that was a testimony to me, and it was a confidence builder for sure.
Yeah.
It felt good. I felt like I killed it, and then she told me great job when I got off stage, and then she I'm not going to give away the whole story because there's some things we talk about, So I walk back to my seat and just try to play it cool, like not like I didn't just perform in front of the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? So I go and I go walk back to my seat, and he leans over and he says, "Hey man, you did that, man."
Oh,
and I was like, that's exactly what he said.
That down, though?
No, seriously, it's imprinted in my brain forever. Okay. So it was, he's like, you did that, man. And I was like, he gave me the dap, and I was like, yo, thanks, bro. I try to play it off and just like quick dap him up and go back to my seat. Get out the way.
So cool.
So then when we're leaving, okay, I told my homeboy, he's like, I got to use the bathroom. He's like, oh my God, is that Usher? And I was like, bro, do not go talk to him. Do not. Leave him alone. Because, okay, so long story long, okay. So I'm like, it's like wrapping up. There's like two other people perform. Then he's like going to like leave with his son, who's got an album out now. Shout out to him. And so he's leaving with him. And I'm like, okay, he's leaving. Come on, let's go. Try to catch him at the door. You know what I'm saying? And then he said something really dope. He was like, I said, hey man, hey Ush, I just want to say thank you, man. Like, thanks for the love, man. It means a lot coming from you, And then he's like, that's when he said, he's like, man, I was about to hit your ad libs, man. And I was like, you should have. It was really dope. Like, I'm so fanned out about it, but that's like one of my favorite artists. So I can't explain like the feeling of doing that.
That
was pretty
so
cool. So that was a special story, and it makes for good table talk, and it's something I'll never forget. And then it inspired me as an artist to work harder, so one day I could be the Usher in the room for someone else.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is so dope that you got to experience that. And you took that and like you just went with it. Like you stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. And I love that you mentioned that. And I love that about you as well, that you did not just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, or I'm not prepared. I think that's a really great lesson to learn, especially as a creative, as an artist, that like when the opportunity presents itself, like you just got to go for it and take it.
Thanks.
And like you're a living example of that. So kudos to you for doing that. That's amazing. And thank you for sharing that story.
It's a long story,
amazing.
But I gotta compress it a little bit, but it's a good one though.
Yes, that's super, super amazing. So I want to talk about this because on my show, I always talk about vibes. Like it's the weekend vibes. We're vibing. Mm-hmm. I read an article about you and you described yourself as a vibe curator. So I want you, like, can you unpack what that means to you and how you balance personal storytelling while still setting the vibe for your fans in your music?
You got all the good questions. Okay, so for me, it's basically like I am like a one of a kind of personality. Like you're gonna remember me. You're not gonna forget me. You're either gonna hate me, you're gonna love me. So when I come into the room, you're gonna feel my presence, my aura. You're gonna feel it.
I love that.
So the thing is, I'm like loud. I'm disruptive. You know what I'm saying? With my music, I'm just a vibe. That's what I do. So I'm an entertainer. I'm born with that. So when it comes to my music, I kind of try to make it like that and add the attitude, add a little flavor to it, and not be too cookie cutter, but not be too culture vulture either. I'm Latin. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like happy cinnamon in between. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
I just try to vibe, and I feel like curating the vibes, I'm the person that gets the party started. I get people to drink. I pour the drinks for people, half and halves, all around.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? I get them lit. So like with my music, I try to do the same, and I just try to bring the energy up. I don't like being bored and like all this dragging and stuff. If the vibe is down, I bring it up. So I try to curate the vibes, creating the vibes, being that lightning torch, you know what I'm saying? That filters the vibe. So that's why I said that.
Yeah, you're a fire sign like
I'm an
me.
Aries.
Yeah, you're an
You already
Aries.
know.
I'm a Sagittarian.
Hey,
so you know,
shout out to the fire signs out there.
Shout out to the fire signs. We know how to turn a party up. We really
Facts. You already
do.
know.
Like, thank you for bringing that information up. I appreciate you for talking about what you were talking about. But before we go, I have a question for you for all the aspiring creatives that are out there, because we have a lot of people that listen to us that are also aspiring artists or are current artists. Do you have a piece of advice for someone who might be trying to find their path or like their groove in music and in finding their craft? What is a piece of advice that you would give to them?
So a piece of advice that I would give to an upcoming, creative, whether you're artist, filmmaker, dancer, painter, whatever, because art can't be defined by one genre, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to say a shout out to you. Don't give up, you know what I'm saying? And stay close to God, stay prayed up, and keep a good circle around you, and make sure that the people around you want to see you win. Because a lot of times we'll deal with people that don't want to see you win or that are opportunists. So you got to filter people out. They fall off on the way, on the journey, So make sure you have a good circle of good people and make sure you stay loyal to them, because you see a lot of people kick their manager to the curb or, kick their best friends to the curb as their star rises and stuff. So just keep good people, treat your people good, and work on your craft. Stay in the studio and catalog up, because there's moments where you can have, you can have writer's block, because we all are human, so you got to be able to pull from the vault. Just practice on your craft every day, because if, like Mama Jan says, we are vocal athletes. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So make sure you go practice, whether that's, getting in the gym or going to doing your vocal training or writing every day, and just perfect your craft, because that's something that nobody can take away from you.
That's powerful. And then real quick before we go, tell the people where they can listen to you so they know where to find you.
Yeah, so thank you, everybody. If you tuned in, I really appreciate you listening to my story. I hope it inspires y'all, and you come check me out on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and X and YouTube and you guys know there's so many things now. So whatever you like, make sure you check me out and follow me, connect with me. I'm not Hollywood, so I will follow you back. Don't be afraid to write or comment. I'll talk to you. It's Gabe Lustman on all social media. That's GabeLustman, and stream my new song, What's the Move? And I dropped it off right here first at The Drop 1047.
Thank you, Gabe Lustman, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to interview with me.
Pleasure was mine.
I'm really excited to share this information. But thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in to the Weekend Vibes with your girl, Indigo Jones, right here on 1047 The Drop.